of, actually. In 2005, after Katrina, my mom and my sister lived in Mechanicsville, and we came up here for Christmas. We had a nice little Christmas in D.C. So it's good to come back. I enjoyed it.
We're the top part of the South. We sort of want to be the South sometimes, and the North sometimes. So. And you're from Mississippi.
Right. You're on the border, so you can,
you can
go both ways.
You can tell by the humidity. So you're fairly new to the acting profession, and I know you did a little bit of theater and a couple of films before this, but this is a pretty big deal to work with Sofia Coppola and Emma Watson and Leslie Mann. So what was that experience like for you to sort of get into this?
You know, it was pretty overwhelming, and it was pretty surreal. The first day on set, I met Kirsten Dunst, Gavin Rossdale, Paris Hilton, and on top of that, I was already working with Sophia and Emma, so it was, I felt like I was moving a little too fast, and I still do, but no, it was a lot of fun, and I was happy I got this part.
That you guys had kind of a fake house break-in to sort of bond as a group and sort of see how it went. So you want to tell us about that a little bit? I think that's kind of fascinating. I hope it wasn't somebody's real house.
It was, but they knew we were there. Well, basically, for the week of pre-production, we had to go shopping, and I had to do a little fashion show and learn how to walk in heels. And since Rebecca is the ringleader, Sophia emailed Katie, as her real name actually, saying, you're going to break into this house, here's the address, and here's a list of things you need to get. And so we call one of the PAs, who also named Katie. We hop in a minivan and we go up in the hills, and we arrive at this place, and it's like pitch black. And we get out of this minivan, and we're trying to be like quiet, and like Jason Bourne or James Bond kind of thing. We hop the fence, and it was actually Emma. She actually opens the fence after we hop it. Like, we were thinking this was going to be difficult. And we start searching for windows that were open, and again, it was the window right next to the door, the one we thought that wouldn't be open. And, you know, we're still being sneaky, but once we were climbing in, Claire fell into the window. And, like, we just laughed, like, just, you know, out of, just naturally.
Was this like nerve-wracking at all? Because it was kind of planned. You didn't sort of expect, you know, alarms to go off or the police to show up. But
no. I mean, we knew we were going to be all right. But pretty much, she fell in. We started laughing, and then we slowly began to realize that these kids weren't robbing houses; they were going in there and having a blast. And that's when we kind of all connected. And Thaisa found the fridge. We went and grabbed all the stuff on the list. We forgot stuff, so we had to go back. And then we went to In-N-Out. So yeah, it was like that was a bonding night, and that's when we all clicked and found the chemistry of this group.
Burgers. Do you know whose house it was? Did you know whose house it was?
I'm not positive.
You don't have to say. But...
I think it was Sophia's sister-in-law, but I'm not sure. There's some discrepancy on that.
It's pretty cool. If anybody have any questions, just put your hands up, and we can take your questions. Yes, in the middle up there.
So how long did it take you all to shoot this?
9.5 weeks, I think. Yeah, we started in March of last year and ended like the middle of May. So.
And were the houses that you robbed, are they the actual actors' homes?
Well, no, everything was just locations, random locations. But what you see in Paris Hilton's house, that was actually Paris's.
Wow.
There was no set decoration, so the pillows, the pictures, the magazines, that was all hers. The monkey wasn't, though. I hate to spoil that.
How was your? How did you audition for this? And what did you expect of it when you sort of went for it? Did you feel confident in it? Did you feel scared? And sort of what was the process like for you?
Well, I mean, auditioning, you usually go in with sides, which is a couple pages of the script, and. Yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking. You sit there in the waiting room and like, am I going to run out? And what would my team do to me if I did? But this one was different. This one I had to put myself on tape for. I wasn't doing sides or anything with the script. I had to talk about myself for a minute and a half, which is kind of hard to think of stuff to talk about yourself with. But then I went and met Courtney and Nicole, the casting directors, and I talked with them a little bit. And, this started in September, and it was a slow process. And eventually, I met with Sophia and I got the sides finally, and auditioned with that. And then I met with Katie and Harris Savides, who's the cinematographer, and Fred Roos, who's the producer, and we did a chemistry read and a camera test. And then I flew back home, and a couple days later I got the call. Yeah.
Yes, all in the back.
What was your favorite part to shoot in the movie?
Well, the whole thing was kind of fun.
Because we really liked the part where you were dancing.
That was the hardest part. That wasn't my favorite. No, Sophia came up to me and asked if I could do that for her because the real kid Nick Prugo, he actually did a video for Drop It Low and he was doing the exact same thing I was doing. So I wasn't sure if I was gonna live up to it or not, and I did. And you can't say no to Sofia Coppola. So, but no, my favorite scene to shoot would be that scene where we're looking at a house, the glass house, and Katie and I are running through it. And that was actually Harris Savides. He was sick, so he wasn't on set all the time. So he was really pushing to get that shot, and we weren't sure if we were going to fit it into the schedule or not. And we did, and we're glad because I think that was all of our favorite shots. And it was a nice way to leave his legacy.
So he was one of the directors of photography on this film. This was the first film that Sophia shot digitally. She's typically shot film, and I think she's worked with him before, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so he was sort of taking her through a new journey, and he died right after they finished filming, and somebody else sort of completed it. So that's who we're sort of chatting about. So Nick and one of the girls in the group were advisors on this film too, right?
Yeah, I know for sure Nick Prugo, the character I play, he was an advisor.
Did you meet him?
No. I think if I would have met him, it kind of would have ruined my idea and freedom to do with the character what I needed to. So yeah, I never met him. I wouldn't be opposed to, maybe a little awkward, but yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Just break into his house.
Who were you closest with on set, and what was Emma Watson like?
So our question was, who was he closest to on set, and what was Emma Watson like?
Actually, I was close to Thaisa Farmiga, who plays Sam. Her and I were good friends, and Emma Watson, she is, okay, first of all, she's British, so you've got to stop yourself from picking up on that accent because it's hard. But no, she's really sweet and she's really polite. She's got a good head on her shoulders. But a lot of times she kind of, she did her own thing. She kind of chilled in her trailer, which is understandable. I mean, everywhere we went, there was paparazzis around because she was there, so she didn't want to get shot, running to the wardrobe trailer or something.
It's kind of a sort of out there part for her to take too, considering sort of what most people know her from cinematically. Did you have any questions about doing this at all? That you sort of, is this the kind of film I want to do? This character was something I want to play, or was that attractive to you?
Well, I related to my character because his insecurity and vulnerability, and I know I probably shouldn't say that publicly, but I did.
Lay down and talk.
You have a pillow? No, yeah, when I booked this, the script wasn't written, so I wasn't sure, what exactly I was signing up for. But I trusted Sophia, and yeah, we talked, because I knew he had heels, and so I wasn't sure where that was going to go, and how far that was going to go. But she promised me it was going to be okay.
Just have to fit well.
Right.
Did you have a question? Yeah.
What was it like to work with Sofia Coppola?
Well, it was pretty amazing. She's not like the other directors I've worked with, who are more intimidating and, they make themselves known on the set. Sophia's very quiet, and she knows how to draw you in, and when she speaks, she's very quiet. And I guess that makes you listen even more. But no, she's very, very sweet, and as a director, she gives you a lot of freedom, and she lets you improvise, and she really doesn't give us much direction. She usually, when we start a scene, she's like, all right, this is what just happened, this is what's going on in the scene, this is what's about to happen. Yeah, I can have fun.
Was it fairly collaborative? Could you, if you had something that you wanted to contribute about a character and sort of thought it should go a different way? Was she open to that kind of thing?
Yes, she was very collaborative, and she wanted to hear your ideas, and she wanted to work together as much as we could, and I appreciated that because it's bad enough on set when you're nervous and you're not sure if you're doing a good job. And with Sophia, she's like I said, she's quiet, so it's like, okay, good job, next. It's like, all right, are we doing reshoots in a couple months for this scene?
Yeah, the blue shirt.
Okay, so as someone who isn't from LA, what did you think about the culture and kind of what was your interpretation of it?
Good question.
Well, I've been in LA for about 5 years now, and no, I haven't gotten like swamped with its culture and Valley Girl and all that.
Yeah, where'd you get those clothes?
Well, my stylist. Trust me, I tried to come in my jeans and they said no. But yeah, the LA is definitely a different city and it's very unique. But the culture is, I don't know, it's just kind of controlled by, social media and reality TV and celebrities. And it's kind of a selfish town in a good way. And yeah, I think social media has a big part to do in LA as well as everybody else, everywhere else. And like, Paris, with all the, the social media is a big part of this film even. So when someone tweets, hey, I just had Pink's hot dogs, it's like, oh, I've had Pink's hot dogs too. We must be family because I've had Pink's hot dogs. So with the social media and people knowing where you are and what you're doing and what you like, you feel more connected to these people. And I think that's the biggest part of LA culture, and I think that's the biggest problem with LA culture is it's just how cyberbullying starts. It's how rumors spread, and that's how you get your house robbed. I'm not sure if that answered your question well enough, but
Is LA your home base now, or how much are you in Mississippi at all? Or?
It's slowly becoming my home base.
Yeah.
It's I've been there a few months out of every year, so I like to travel though. I need a break.
Yeah. Yeah, Barry.
Did Sophia or the script go into the subtext, the sexual subtext of your character, especially in reference to Rebecca and all that?
Did Sophia go into the
Subtext of your sexuality as a character.
Okay. Well, I think the refreshing thing about Sophia is she doesn't try and explain anything in her films. It's kind of like she leads you to it, and she doesn't force an opinion on you. It's just what you see is what you get, and I think leaving it unsaid was right. I mean, there was no coming out scene. There was no scene that okay, he's gay. It was accepted, and that's all Mark wanted, and I think that was the best way to show that.
Yes.
So you discussed earlier not wanting to meet your actual characters. You thought it might influence the character you were trying to create, and I was wondering, with so much research and information about these characters already existing, how did you sort of navigate what was like in the world and on the internet and what people thought about them, and creating your own sort of like intimate persona and your own idea of this person?
Well, we had a lot of research to do, not only with the characters, but with everything else, including fashion and whatnot. But I feel like knowing as much as I could about him and then meeting him were two different things. Such as like if I was meeting him, he knew I was going to be playing him in a movie, so he could try and act differently. And when you meet him, you're more like one-on-one, so it gives you a different idea of the character, and I feel like that would have been that would have knocked it off its axle.
Well, and this is a kind of fictionalized account, so the details aren't all solid either. So I guess left it open for you guys to sort of interpret your characters as you saw.
Yeah,
So
we had a lot of freedom to do with what we needed with the characters, and I knew a lot about Nick Prugo. I saw the police documents and the security footage. And so, yeah, we had the information, and I felt that's all I needed. I didn't need to go any further than that.
say, in your own opinion, what is the theme of this movie?
I honestly cannot answer that.
What did you think the theme of the movie was?
I don't know, like, these kids, they're kind of rats, right? But at the same time, these celebrities are so arrogant to think that they don't need to lock their stuff and that they can stay and do whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of people look at it. And most of the stuff they stole was probably given to these celebrities, but that's not the point. The point is that was an invasion of privacy. Even if someone came into your house and stole something you hated, stole something, I don't know, your wife bought you and you just needed a way to get rid of it, it's still that's still an invasion of privacy. Someone was in your house that you don't know and you didn't know it, and it's just like it'd be a weird feeling. But as my mother explained it when she saw it, she said it jerked her around. She said she was nervous. She said she was happy, excited, and then sad. And just she said it covered all the emotions. So that's kind of what I base that answer off of, because mother knows best. So.
It's this fine line because I don't know if people saw Spring Breakers recently too, which was very different than this, and far more violent. But it was sort of an interesting sort of desire to sort of have what somebody else has, have a different lifestyle, or to sort of just emulate the lifestyle. So this was definitely less about the stuff and more about being sort of in the same room with those people and sort of really being viewed in a similar manner than the stuff. It was interesting to me too that they sort of got so much money out of these home visits too that they would still go and sort of steal more versus taking the money to go buy things, though they probably did that as well.
Well, I don't know if it were me up there, and I would have sold everything and kept the money in case I did get caught, so I can pay that $800,000 bail. He's going to be working on that for a while.
Any other questions? Yeah.
So Paris Hilton let you film in her house. Was she there while you were doing it? And was that kind of awkward? And was that her stuff you guys were touching?
Yeah, it was all her stuff. Like I said, we didn't do any set decorations in her house. No, she was very gracious in letting us film there because, first of all, it's, we're not supposed to. That was a gated community. There was no film crews allowed. So we had to sneak in. But, I think Paris, this, publicizes her name a little more, which, I'm sure she loves. But, another thing is Paris's house, we were filming at the house these kids robbed back in 2008, so I think Sophia was pretty persuasive when she was asking Paris to let us do this, because it has something authentic about it.
What's your view of, well, this is not necessarily your generation, but sort of younger culture? Do you think that's kind of the pervading sort of feeling out there, the sort of desire for things and sort of another lifestyle? Everybody wants sort of an easy thing, or?
I mean, I think we can all agree that everybody wants an easy way out. But I don't know. We go back to social media here. I mean, look at Justin Bieber. He posts a video on YouTube, and he's a millionaire. And that's all right. You should use this and take advantage of the social media. But what people get lost in is they start losing themselves, and they stop staying true to themselves.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to sort of find a fine line with a story like this too, because you want to sort of present it from their viewpoint and the sort of voyeuristicness and the sort of dynamism of the excitement of what they did, but also not glamorize it too much and have to have the sort of the second part of it, which is probably why your mom said she felt jerked around, and it did feel like that. I felt the same way. I felt there was like these suspenseful moments and then there were sort of these very elated moments where you're kind of celebrating with them, but you're like, I shouldn't be so happy that they're doing this, because it's kind of awful. But
yeah, you kind of feel repulsed at the end, especially with Nikki up there. But at the same time, you're not sure if you should cheer for them. I think Sophia did a good job at that. And
yeah. Well, and that they're sort of achieving something with being advisors on this film. They're subjects of this Vanity Fair article, which is now a book, and they probably have all their own endeavors that they're sort of, that this is going to sort of bring them to the limelight, which is kind of what they were desiring in the first place.
Yeah. Sophia's was intent on trying to make them least amount popular from this movie as possible. That's not really working. But no, I mean, that's why she changed the names, and that's why she created it fiction. So these kids wouldn't get any more famous, and so we wouldn't glamorize what these kids did.
We'll take like one more if somebody has not asked a question yet, right here.
As a fellow Mississippian, can you tell us a little bit about your journey from Gulfport to a movie by Sophia?
Well,
Where's your accent?
I don't know, y'all. No, my sister wanted to become an actress. She wanted to be on Sweet Life with Zach and Cody. So, yeah, we started doing plays, and I kind of, took over in that, and she wasn't too happy. But then she heard this ad on the radio for Pro Scout, which is a talent scout agency, and we went and did an interview with them. And my parents took us, hoping the dream would die when we got rejected. And yeah, we went to a convention in Arkansas, and we met with a bunch of agents and some managers. And then my dad and I flew to LA in March of 2008, and then a couple months later, my whole family was out there. And up to Sophia, like, I don't know, you can't really explain it. Wow.
Good fortune, certainly.
Yeah, I've definitely been blessed, but, I don't know why.
So, quick question, what are you working on next in terms of film, TV, anything like that? And I did read something that said you were taking a break and going to work in your uncle's parachute store.
Okay,
After this?
let me just clear this up.
Was that real or not real?
Yes.
That's very commendable of you to help your uncle out.
My uncle owns a grocery store. I don't know where they got parachute store from or why they thought it made it more interesting. But it's a grocery store. It's in Sturgis, South Dakota. It's a very small town. And that's where the annual bike week is. So I usually go up there and we deliver food to churches and bike washes and whatnot. So that explains that. And wait, what else was there?
What are you working on next?
Oh yeah, thank you.
What's coming around the corner? What are you working on there?
Well, this is the last leg of the press tour. So we're going to wrap up the Bling Ring, and then, yeah, I've got a great team behind me, so we're looking for the right project, not necessarily the next project. But coming out soon was a music video I was in, opposite Lily Collins, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, for the song Claudia Lewis by M83, and it's a really cool, cute kind of music video, if you will. And yeah, we're waiting on that to come out. It should be coming out in a couple weeks, so awesome.
So the point of these screenings is to get buzz going, talk about it. So you got your social media, your email. This film's opening on the 21st in DC area. Thank you for being here to talk about it, and congratulations.